people are really concerned about inflation. People are really concerned about crime. And people want to know my position on abortion, which I put out in an op-ed September 3rd. And all the ads that are out there are saying kind of the opposite of what I said in that op-ed. But people are really concerned about inflation right now, and I think it's getting worse. And a lot of folks, ask us, well, what are you going to do? And I point people back to kind of 2008-9 when we were hitting that Great Recession. We had a structural deficit of $2.5 billion, which means we were spending $2.5 billion more than what we were taking in on a budgetary basis. So they were stealing money from the Highway Trust Fund and other areas. We had essentially no rainy day fund, less than $200 million. We owed the federal government billions of dollars. And so we were in real trouble back then. And so what Republicans have tried to do over the last decade, and something that I've been proud to be a part of, is we've been building up our rainy day reserve. We have almost $5 billion in our rainy day reserve.
Wow.
In 2008, because we didn't have any money in savings, we had a structural deficit. The legislature had to cut essential services. They froze teacher salaries. They did all of these draconian things that if they had budgeted and taken care of their fiscal house, that would not have occurred. We have $1 billion in an inflationary reserve to help with increased salaries and recruiting for state agencies so we can continue to provide those essential services. We have over $3 billion in our unemployment reserve, so we don't have to rely on the federal government like the state did years ago. And what a lot of people don't understand is unemployment insurance is paid through unemployment premiums that small businesses pay. And so if we've got a good fiscal house when it comes to those issues, it helps small business. So there's a lot we've been doing in North Carolina, whether it's $1 billion into broadband expansion or a pay-as-you-go approach for capital projects. Back in a previous decade, they used to borrow all their money. And now what we've been able to do as a state is kind of a pay-as-you-go. So a lot of these projects you're seeing happening at universities and other places, we're able to pay them as we go on rather than taking on these big bond issues and debt. And so what that means is that our fiscal house is in order. We don't have to raise taxes. And in fact, we've been lowering them. We'll be down under 4% within the next 5 or 6 years. I can't remember exactly how long that phase-in program is, but we're going to have one of the lowest tax rates in the Southeast for states that have a tax.